Good morning, News in Motion viewers, family. How are we doing today? Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023. We have a lot to cover today. We have a packed show for you. Grab the coffee, grab the breakfast. Make sure you have a pen and paper ready. We also have Wednesday workshop. We're also gonna have some game over with Kenny Stanley and a special report from Devontae Goins. You don't want to miss this. So, with that being said, let's get this news in motion.
News in motion.
What's up, everyone? It is time for News in Motion. I hope you are tuning in as soon as we hit that broadcast live because Isaiah comes on each morning, gives you a little rundown of what you're going to experience today. And we have, as he said, a packed broadcast for you today. You may even want to get your pen and paper. Yes, y'all, he's back. Isaiah Jones killed it last week, so he is back again this week with the Wednesday workshop, and you want to be ready. Y'all, I see Marion Jackson out here. I see Tracy Coomey coming in from LinkedIn this morning. I see Roseanne coming in here. Jeffrey Allen James. I see Latrice Jones on here. What's up, Deborah Johnson? I see Kenny Stanley, although he's also in the green room. I see Shardinia out here. Regina, my brother, Louis Pryor. I see Jacqueline. Y'all are ready to go. I see Lori. I see Anita Dawson. I see Shirley Nicholson. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Put those numbers up in here, y'all. I see Adrian coming in here from YouTube. Y'all, come on in the room. Come on in the room. It is happening today. Again, we have a packed broadcast today, and we have it all in here. And I'm so excited about it. Y'all, today is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, February the 22nd, 2023. And guess what, y'all? It's Lent season. This is what you call Ash Wednesday. This is what you call Ash Wednesday. And we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Hopefully, you've decided what you're going to do. Hopefully, you decided what you're going to read. If you're reading something specifically, remember, you are doing this for you. You are doing this for a cleansing or for a transformation or uplifting or renewal or revival. That's what you're doing. Look, don't be legalistic with it. I see you, Fred Jones. Don't be legalistic with it. If you say, oh, I messed up already. It's okay. You just messed up. Just decide what you're going to do and do it. And do it. I see you, Robert Holman, coming in here as well. So yes, y'all, today starts Lent. It is Wednesday, February 22nd. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Welcome everyone who is tuning in live. And if you happen to be catching the replay, just thank you for allowing me to spend just a little bit of your day with you. Y'all, my Black business and Black history are combined today. We don't have a graphic today, but you all, I can't wait for you to hear the podcast on Friday. When I was done recording that podcast on yesterday, I was on such a high. I was having a mountaintop experience that I could not even go to sleep. Y'all, I had the pleasure of interviewing a Black female filmmaker. Here it is, Deborah. Here it is, Lori, and others of you who may be interested in this from South Africa. We had the best conversation. We had a great time that I found a friend. We found a friend in each other. Her name is Ayanda Magaglula. She's the founder of Black Female Filmmakers. She's a South African-born film editor. Now, she's currently based in the U.S. working on a few projects. She's best known for editing the award-winning experimental feature film Final 48, which y'all, you can go to Amazon Prime and buy it, download it, whatever. I want us to support this sister. Y'all, she is also on different TV shows. She's doing a lot of the back office, front office. She's what we call a green lighter, and that means she opens up doors for people who look like us, y'all. She is phenomenal. She is executive produced by NBA's Chris Paul. Hello, somebody. That's who I interviewed yesterday. She's currently working in Dallas, Texas, as a post supervisor on a crime docu-series for Global TV Network, and it is Global TV Network. After navigating the industry for more than a decade, Ayanda continues to build Black female filmmakers, to connect Black female industry talent, and forge a new path. Y'all, I want us to support this sister in her work. Again, be sure to download the podcast Friday. It hits at 7 a.m. Be sure to download that. Let me just say this about Ayanda. We connected immediately. That was one of those things where I took a risk. I said, I'm going to just ask her and see if she's willing to join me on my podcast. And I sent the invitation. She said yes. We set it up. We did it on yesterday. And again, it was like a mountaintop experience. Podcast normally runs about 35 minutes. Y'all, this podcast, we went for almost an hour because she was just sharing. If you have any thoughts of filmmaking, documentaries, docu-series, screenplay, running any type of production, podcast, broadcast, anything like that, y'all, she was an open book. She was an open book, and she gave serious nuggets. So you want to support her and check out the podcast Politics and Prose on Friday, 7 a.m. It drops. All right, y'all. Kenny's in the room. Kenny's in the room. Kenny's in the room. It's now time for Game Over with Kenny.
News and Motion family, good morning. Hey, real quick, welcome to Game Over with me, Kenny Stanley. Hey, I just got a little bit of short stuff for you. My favorite time for basketball is here. College basketball, March Madness is around the corner. The March Madness tournament starts next week, but we start off with the conference playoff games, and then we see who's gonna make the tournament. So we're gonna see next week. I can't wait for the brackets to come out because I can't wait to get in on it. Will Coach Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks repeat as national champions? They're looking pretty good again this year. And how about on the women's side with Coach Don Staley? Will her South Carolina Gamecocks repeat and remain undefeated and be two-time national champs? Is looking pretty good. But one of them, that team from Indiana might have something to say in the Big Ten. But we're going to have to wait and see. The NBA is in its final push also to see who's going to make the playoffs and who's going to make the play-in game. The West seems to be pretty strong this year. The LA Clippers picked up Russell Westbrook. They teamed him back up with Paul George. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. He just moved his locker just to the other side of the building, but he's still in the same building in LA. Hey, the Lakers, hey, they look pretty good on paper, but you still got to play the game. But LeBron put it out there. I'm not trying to sit at home again this year. You got to see what's going to happen. Will he do what he's supposed to do? I still believe Denver is the team to beat in the West. Joker is no joke, but Phoenix might have something to say because they added sharpshooter Kevin Durant before the trade deadline. So we got to see what's going to happen. Speaking of the All-Star game, was talking about first of all, the East, things seems to be getting pretty tight. Milwaukee's it's tougher for Milwaukee right now. They were the number 3 seed, I do believe. It is getting tougher because Giannis sprained his wrist right before the All-Star game. And they say he might be back when the hand feels better. So we have to wait and see. But speaking of the All-Star game, can you say Mac McClung? This young man put on a show Saturday night in the dunk contest. Matter of fact, it wasn't even a contest. This thing was over with after his first dunk where he leaped over 2 people, grabbed the basketball, touched the backboard, and slammed it backwards. It was over after that. His lowest score in the dunk contest was a 49. So that means he had 4 dunks, 3 of them were 50s. Nobody ever came close. So, Mac McClung, congratulations. I have more for the All-Star game on Saturday because it wasn't even a game. I called it a glorified layup line. It needs to be fixed because it wasn't even interesting. I turned the game off. We'll have to wait and see. That's it. That's sports. Back to Gail for more news. I love everybody. I see you Saturday at 6:30. Game over.
Kenny rolling up in here with all the energy. That's what I'm talking about. You see how you done made that shift? That's all it took. Thank you, Kenny, for the rundown.
All right.
We will see you Saturday at 6:30, right?
See you 6:30.
6:30 with Game Over. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. Y'all in the news. And I see y'all running up in here. I see you, Danielle from YouTube. I see you, Kim Edmondson. What's up? Latrice said you turned the game off. Okay. Yes, Deborah. Good report from Kenny. Good report from Kenny. Y'all listen, in the news. I told y'all about the Supreme Court will start hearing cases on yesterday, and they start checking on Google and the family. Well, they're talking about, I'm not too sure we're going to break the internet. So there's a lot of back and forth. They look like they're going to ease into like maybe staying away from that. We don't know. I see you, Pastor Alex, rolling up in here. Y'all, the Supreme Court suggested Tuesday that they might move cautiously in their first examination of the federal law that protects internet companies from lawsuits concerning the platform's posting of content from third parties. Now, they have to tighten this up because it's really getting out of control. We even have someone sitting in the House of Representatives talking about divorcing the nation. We don't do that. We don't do that. We just need you to get on up out of here and going back to the South where you belong. But anyway, Justice heard more than 2.5 hours of arguments regarding the claim by the family of the exchange student killed in an Islamic State attack that Google's YouTube should be liable for promoting content from the group. So they should start flagging things. Things do need to change. Some regulations do need to happen and take place. We're going to see how this is going to play out. Now, Supreme Court Justice Keegan said one could question why Congress provided such protections when passing Section 230. Y'all, Section 230 is only about 3 sentences, okay? Read it. Don't take my word for it. Read it. Of the Communications Decency Act of 1996. So this wasn't real long ago. We're talking 1996. And they already knew that the internet and all of this stuff was happening and it was growing. And yet they only wrote 3 sentences to that act. Y'all, she says, which has been interpreted by courts to provide wide immunity from lawsuits when the sites post content from outside parties. But y'all, as you keep digging into some of that, you also see where the Supreme Court may just throw it back to Congress. Hello, somebody. That means we got to vote. We got to vote, people. There's some things that need to change. And the Supreme Court is like, we don't know if we can really touch this or not, which means follow the money. You got to connect those dots. Talking about following the money, y'all, we have a special report once again from Devontae Goings from Unbossed. He's going to be joining me here in just a moment.
Show that focuses on our issues, our concern, our stories, our voices, and our perspectives.
It's less than 20 people. So everybody want to scream on social media about how Black Lives Matter, but no one's
And when you only report one side of the story, that's not reporting. Right. And that happens way too much in with our major media establishments in this town. It's like,
Yes. And I see that Isaiah is working the boards this morning. Before we come to you, Latrice Jones said something very important about the last segment. She said, immunity for entities always concerns me. Latrice, me too. And I think you would get the same thing from Devontae. So Devontae, you rolled up in East Palestine, Ohio again on yesterday. Understand you had an amazing interview with Governor Mike DeWine. Can you speak to that to us real quick and let us know what's going on?
Yes, I did have an awesome time speaking with the governor of Ohio. I guess it was so awesome that afterwards, his wife, Fran DeWine, the first lady, she rolled up and gave me one of her homemade Buckeye brownies. It was amazing, unless I was just hungry, but I'm pretty sure it was amazing. But one of the things we talked about after the press conference on our one-on-one was I was very interested in knowing when he said he drank water yesterday out of people's homes in the 2 home visit he went to. I wanted to know, was it well water or was it the village water that's already been cleaned and things like that? He said it's the village water. But I'm also thinking it's a little bit of a photo op because, as we remember, President Obama back in Flint a few years back when that whole thing was still going on, President Obama didn't drink the water. What he ended up drinking was bottled water. So do I think it was a little bit of a photo op? Yes, but we did see video of the water actually coming out the faucet, but that still doesn't make it not a photo op.
Right, right, right. It was funny. I was watching them drink the water yesterday because I was in on one of the press rooms, virtual press
Mm.
rooms, and I was like, they look so hesitant to drink that water.
Yes.
What's really going on? And they kind of like did a cheers, and then they took a sip. They ain't take a gulp. They took a sip.
Right.
Now, how many dignitaries were there?
There were about 7 to 8. So we had Congresswoman Amelia Sykes there. She's new. She actually just got elected to a full term. You'll probably remember Congresswoman Amelia Sykes because she ran against former state senator Nina Turner in that special election, and it kind of got a little crazy. Then you have Congressman Bill Johnson. You had Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, and the U.S. EPA administrator. One of the overarching themes talked about during that press conference was not just transparency, but how democracy and how government is supposed to work. A Republican governor and a Democratic governor working together for the people, as well as here in Ohio, 2 neighboring congressional districts, a Republican congressman and a Democratic congresswoman working together.
I love that. I love that. It was interesting because, people are questioning President Biden and his age, right? But he's not
Right.
out the park. A sneak attack. He went into Ukraine, took this train ride, got back, gave an amazing speech in Poland, and then immediately after the speech, he says, and this is a direct quote. He says, "After my speech today, I spoke with EPA Michael Reagan, Senator Sherrod Brown, Representative Bill Johnson, Governor Shapiro, and Governor Mike DeWine about our ongoing efforts in East Palestine, Ohio." He said, "I reaffirm my commitment to making sure they have everything they need." Then he gave us a laundry list. I won't go over all of it, but he talked about the Environmental Protection Agency ordered a train company of Norfolk Southern to pay for the cleanup and disposal of the hazardous material. He said, "Our team is working to lockstep with state and local officials, and we're on the ground hours after the train derailed." He said EPA is monitoring the air and water quality. They have screened more than 500 homes. CDC has deployed chemical assessment personnel. We have deployed FEMA resources. He goes on and talks about transportation. He talks about how the other elected officials are now pointing fingers and that this should not become political. Can you please speak to that and what you gained yesterday when seeing the Democratic governor and the Republican governor coming together?
Well, that's why the whole topic of them unity came about, Gail, is because somebody asked a question about, because this is already political. Yesterday, the former guy, as you call him, I call him 45, or the occupant of the White House, the former occupant, that is. He was, right. He was supposed to be in town yesterday, but he ended up postponing till today. And will I be going back up? No. The team won't, because there's news here. But that's why it came up, because the question was, is this being over politicized in some way? But Governor Mike DeWine is facing a little bit of backlash this morning in a clip that's gone viral now on YouTube, because in the immediate after, Matt, in one of his first press conferences, Governor DeWine, when asked had he spoken to President Biden, he said President Biden had reached out, but he hadn't returned his call to ask for help. And then yesterday, an independent journalist caught up with him outside of one of the houses he was visiting and said, Governor DeWine, why did it take you so long to reach out to President Biden? Have you talked to him? And he's like, yes, we've been in constant communication. But Governor DeWine lied, and when he realized he got caught in that lie, he was like, "Oh no, we can't talk. You aren't hearing me out." But no, you lied.
Right.
These the residents, I talked to so many over the past 2 weeks. That's one of the things that they're upset about is the elected officials, and they're thinking they're only going to be here as long as the cameras are here. And as soon as the cameras leave, they're no longer going to be here. Case in point, Jackson, Mississippi. Recently, case in point, Flint, Michigan. And I can go on and on and on, naming these different environmental crises. And Jackson and Flint just happen to be black circumstances. And this is kind of the tale of two cities because East Palestine is predominantly white.
Very true. And that's starting to come up. I'm seeing a lot of that. I think Washington Post is doing some story on that. In one of the alerts that I received, and they're starting to talk about it. You have Flint, you have East Palestine, you have black, you have white, and they're starting to see what's going to happen here. The money, the FEMA money, where is it going? I see that activist Aaron Brockovich will also be in East Palestine as well.
Yes, this Friday. This Friday she'll be in attendance as well. One of the things I got to do, Gail, yesterday was I got to talk to one of the journalists who's considered local up there. He's an independent guy, and he was on the ground just hours afterwards because this is a news desert, East Palestine is. And for those of you out there that aren't familiar what a news desert is, it's simply an area that doesn't have any local news resources, and they refer on their surrounding areas and things. So that's East Palestine. Jordan Miller is his name, and he's been on dozens of national news outlets and things talking from his perspective. And in his interview, in my interview with him, I asked him, what's it like for even somebody like me who would be considered a local coming from Columbus up to East Palestine? I'm technically regional now, and like the national guys, I'm only coming in for a moment and then I'm leaving because this isn't my main beat. I said, so what's it like? Because you were here before all of us and you're going to be here after all of us. So what you get to hear different stories and things like that. And he said that's one of the residents' biggest and main fears is that once the cameras leave, they'll get no more help.
Well, then
Things will go back to the way they are.
Right. We have to stay the beat and stay up there for sure. Thank you so much for your special report.
Thank you, Gail.
Look forward to hearing more from you as well. And we also heard there was an explosion in Cleveland on yesterday.
Yes, the day before yesterday, it was. So much going on, Gail. So much going on and never enough time to get to all of it.
It's true. Thank you, Unboss. We appreciate the partnership we have here to bring you in for special reports. You have a great day and stay safe out there.
Thank you. You too, everybody.
All right, y'all. What else is happening? And Washington Post is reporting California Representative Barbara Lee announced a Senate bid aiming to become the only third Black woman in the chamber's nearly 250-year history. We have what it seems to be a crowded pool that's going on there now that Feinstein has said she will not run again. Now, what we all been waiting for. Is it really about to happen? I say just do it already. Y'all, the New York Times has the best reporting on this. The special grand jury that investigated election interference by former President Donald J. Trump, I'm only giving a quote here, and his allies in Georgia recommended indictments of multiple people on a range of charges in its report, most of which remain sealed. The foreman, however, of the jury said in the interview on Today, and this is a direct quote, "It's not a short list." Hello, somebody. The forewoman said, her name is Emily Kors, adding that the jury had appended 8 pages of legal code that we cited at various points of the report. Now, she declined to discuss who specifically the special grand jury recommended for indictment, since the judge handling the case decided to keep those details top secret. It's secret for a reason, right, y'all? When he made public a few sections of the report last week. but 7 sections that were still under wraps dealing with the indictment recommendation, Mrs. Kors says. They go on, they start asking her questions because people want to know. People want to know. So they said, okay, was Mr. Trump indicted? And Mrs. Kors gave a what they call a cryptic answer. And she says, and I quote, "You're not going to be shocked. It's not rocket science." Yes. Adding, "You won't be too surprised." Well, when I heard that last part, added, "You won't be too surprised." Now, is that I'm not going to be surprised because they're not going to do anything to him, or I'm not going to be surprised because I've been waiting for this day to come? So I want y'all to weigh in. So what's that we're not going to be surprised? Do you think it's that we're not going to be surprised because we know it's time for him to go to prison, or we're not going to be surprised because they're going to find a way to weasel their way out of this? Please put in the chat what you think is going to happen with that. But I could not wait to share that information with you all this morning. Marion says, "Orange suit for the orange man," the former guy. Latrice Jones says, "Oh, to see Cheetah, man in orange." Kenny Stanley says, "Agent Orange dressed out orange." Listen, we don't know what's about to happen, but we just need to stay tuned. Now, I will say this, and I think Dr. Antoinette is on here. Merrick Garland, where are you? Let's go ahead and get some stuff done because people are waiting. He was supposed to do some fundraising last week and he didn't show up. So people are starting to wonder what's really going on. All right, y'all. Bloomberg reports that a record 6,542 guns were intercepted at U.S. airports by TSA last year. That's about 18 per day. We should be very concerned. I'm like, okay, we can't fly in a plane because we got balloons up there that are being shot down. We got people doing other things that are being shot down. We got people still acting fools on airplanes. And now we got people trying to put guns on airplanes. Say, what? What are we doing? What are we doing? Y'all, FYI, and this is whether it's directed to you or for someone you know, please get this word out. Y'all, 145,000 cans of Enfamil Pro Soy Baby Formula, say that real fast, are being recalled over potential bacterial contamination. So please, 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 if you know anyone whose child is using Enfamil Pro Soy baby formula, please have them return it to the store. All right, y'all, I'm not going to try this. I'm really not going to try this, but maybe you other Starbucks lovers will. Y'all, Starbucks mixes olive oil with coffee. Ugh, I don't even know. That's like taking castor oil. When y'all were little, y'all know, come on, y'all know our background, our family, our heritage. They was always believing that castor oil can knock out a cold, and they would give us that glumpy stuff, and you better swallow it. And I remember my mom tried to mix it. I think my brother's on here. She tried to mix it with some orange juice, like it was gonna make a difference. No, now it may have knocked out a cold, but it was getting it down the esophagus that was so difficult. So y'all, Starbucks is now going to mix olive oil with coffee. Yuck! Y'all, the chain is rolling out a new line of olive oil infused coffee drinks in Italy today, and then it's going to move over here to the U.S. And it will bring them to Southern California this spring. CEO Howard Schultz said he was conceived of the idea while watching locals in Sicily drink olive oil. They was just drinking olive oil, not mixed with coffee. I don't know how you do that. So anyway, that's what's about to happen. So when y'all can go ahead and get your shot of olive oil if you want to. Let me see what some of y'all are saying. Y'all are firing up this chat, and I'm loving it this morning. Dr. Antoinette says, "I can't wait to host an indictment party, which goes with Watergate salad." Well, there's that. My brother was like, "Nope, he's not doing that." He was talking about the castor oil too. Deborah says, "No, thank you, Starbucks." Gwendolyn, what's up, girlfriend? Castor oil and Father John. Yes, let's talk about Father John. I forgot about that one. Y'all, it had Father John on the front. It was a brown bottle, and we normally put it in the refrigerator. Now, I took the Father John over to castor oil, but they were both no. But let me say this. We were well. You woke up that morning talking about, "Oh, Mom, I don't feel good. I'm not going to school." Our parents weren't like the parents today. She was like, "Let me take your temperature." She would be like, "Oh, no, you okay? Here, take some of this castor oil." You're like, "No, I feel better." She's like, "Nope, you're going to take this and get this out of your system." Father John, when you came home, by 2 hours later, you were free of all sickness and you went on to school in the snow with plastic over your boots, plastic over your socks, walking in 3 feet of snow, 4 blocks away. You didn't have a bus, nobody to take you there to drop you off, or no one there to pick you up. You walked in that stuff. School wasn't closed. We can't even get snow today. If there was flurries today, they would cancel the schools. We some wimps today. What is up with that? Let me see. Kim Edmonds is saying olive oil and coffee. Shirley says orange juice did not work. It did not work. Lori says, that does not even sound right. Just leave the coffee alone from Kenny. Y'all are popping in here so fast, I can't even get to everything. Latrice Jones, only Latrice Jones says, I have a bottle of Father John's now. Only Latrice Jones. Only Latrice Jones has some Father John. All right, y'all, the Library of Congress. Y'all know we've been vetted to share this information. It took me some time to start putting it out there. I'm going to put some out there today. They're asking you to join them on Thursday. That's tomorrow, February 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern for a foreign and comprehensive law webinar entitled The Dilemma of Trafficking in Person for the Purpose of Forced Labor and Sexual Exploitation in Member State of the Gulf Corporation Council. Say all that real fast. That was a direct quote. I see you, Pastor Annette. She says she got some too. See, the right people got this. Dr. Antoinette said Vicks, ginger ale, canned chicken noodle soup. Yep, the price is right. And the Young and the Restless. Man, she gave us the whole lineup. That was it. And don't forget, you had, who was that? Farmer John? What was that one thing with the kids where you had, he was Mr. Green Jeans. Y'all remember him? Yeah, we going way back. Some of you young ones on here don't even have any clue what we're talking about. But all of that happened. And you better be sick. You better be sick, or else you was going out of there, or you was going to get in trouble for lying. Our parents didn't believe in lying. That wasn't happening. Not at all. Kenny said, my grandmother told me Father John's was my favorite. Listen. Captain Kangaroo. Thank you, Captain Kangaroo. We would watch all of that. Yep, Mr. Green Jeans. So true. So y'all, we going way back today, way back. So anyway, y'all check out the Library of Congress. You can register for this. We put the link in here. As Isaiah's coming on, I'll grab the link and put it in there. Register. Y'all, that's a great way. When you're talking about voting and advocacy and protesting and civic engagement, when you start putting your name on lists, now, let me tell y'all this. When you put names on certain lists, this isn't to scare you. They got your name, okay? And they got our name anyway. We all got a cell phone. You got a cell phone, they got our name. They know where we are. They know everything about us. But just know, when you put names on lists like that, sometimes they may just check you out a little bit in a legal way, because they're wanting to know who their audience, who makes up their audience. But don't let that deter you. Sign up, see what's happening. You'd be amazed of the people you meet on these webinars. Y'all, you meet some phenomenal people. You see names pop up. You're like, whoa, who is that? And then you check them out and you say, oh, they're in here. Y'all, just be open. Let's be a part of that. Let's check this out. All right, y'all, it's now time for Wednesday workshop. Yes, it is. We're now time for Wednesday workshop with the one and only Isaiah Jones. Now, y'all, please note, I'm going to make this very important. Make you hear me. Please hear me. Y'all, this presentation is copyright. It's a copyright presentation that the owner is Isaiah Jones. If you want to use any parts of it, you have to ask him for permission to do that. And if he gives you permission, you have to make sure his name is all on the presentation. So come on in here, Isaiah, do what you do, because you blew us out the water last week. So come on in here and take it over. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and to all of our News in Motion family. Welcome back to another Wednesday workshop. Today we're going to be talking about Meta Verify and Twitter Blue, and is it really worth it to get the subscription? As you can see here, it is none other by yours truly, Mr. Isaiah Jones, as Ms. Gail Deli said. So if you're ready for this Wednesday workshop, let us know in the chat. Also, be sure to take some notes so that way you can inform yourself and those who also use Twitter, Facebook, about what Meta Verify and Twitter Blue is. I know that we're kind of running tight on time, so if you have to go, we understand. But be sure to catch the replay later on. Ms. Gail, if you could go to the first slide, please. So what is Meta Verify / Twitter Blue? These are some of the these are some direct quotes from the Twitter Blue and Meta Verify help hotline. Twitter Blue allows its subscribers to tweet up to 4,000 characters as opposed to the regular, I want to say 250 characters that the normal Twitter user gets. You can also compose longer tweets and a quote or reply tweet. Everybody will be able to read longer tweets, but only the Blue subscribers can create them. Meta Verify, which is a paid verification service between Facebook and Instagram. The idea was pitched back in 2018 by Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, and it launched, I want to say yesterday. So some stocks have been shown. People are showing some interest in buying this verification service, and all you really need for real to be verified on Facebook or to get like a check mark next to your name, your brand, your profile is a government ID and a monthly subscription of $14.99 on ISO and $11.99 on the website. If you're doing it off a desktop, laptop, you want to be informed of that. Next slide, please. What is the purpose of Meta Verify? So the purpose of the Meta Verify, and this was being reported directly from the Facebook website. Meta Verify is to keep you and your community safe from people who would try to impersonate you, people who will try to use your profile pics, your name, any information that is posted on your profile. Those people will try to use that to kind of scam other people into getting goods, buying other people, buying services for them, basically soliciting in a way. Soliciting and hacking in a way. This also is to prevent abuse such as scams and phishing. Not fishing with a rod, grabbing the fish out of the pond, but phishing, PHISHING. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and what that means. That is where someone, usually a hacker, someone on the internet, an attacker, will try to attempt to obtain confidential information about you, your name, your address, where you work, personal information, stuff about your family, especially your banking information. They will try to attempt to gather those things and use that against you. That is basically fraud. That it's basically a legal offense in a way too. And this also ties in with foreign political influence. So stuff that, biased information, biased news about, a certain president, from a certain country. It could be about Russia, United States. It could be about anywhere. They're going to use that information and make it seem like, you really don't, you're not really vibing with the president or a political senator and from a certain country. And you didn't even, those weren't even your words. You could have a neutral opinion about this person. But just giving a heads up about what phishing is, and sometimes those people target older folks on Facebook, people who aren't really aware of what phishing is. So this is some great information to share with some of the older folks in your life who may be on Facebook, and also some of the young folks too. I know a lot of young people get hacked on their page, on their social media sites, and those people will be the ones who will say, if you invest, $15, I can turn that into $1,500 or something like that. Do not fall for that. That is basically another word for phishing. They will take your personal information, your banking information, turn that into fraud, turn that into scam. So do not fall for that. Next slide, please, Ms. Gail Dudley. And is being verified for a month worth it? You heard that right. You are literally going to be paying the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat too. I almost forgot about Snapchat. Snapchat also has a monthly subscription called Snapchat Premium Plus, or it's either Snapchat Premium or Snapchat Plus, one of those two. But you're going to be putting your money in these social media platforms' pockets just for them to not even promote your content, your brand. This all ties back into what I've talked about with shadow banning. Is it really worth it to have a check next to your name, a check mark next to your name, when literally anybody can do this? You want to pay a monthly subscription to pretend to be a celebrity, basically. I know on Twitter, on Blue Twitter, you have to pay, I want to say $8 a month to have a blue check mark next to your name, and anybody can do that. People with 50 followers can do that. And as you can see here, with Meta Verified, subscribers will have to pay $12, basically $12 a month on the website. And for iPhone users, iOS users, that's $15 a month. So if you tie in that with the occasional Apple Music payment and stuff like that, you're basically paying $26 a month, if you're being honest. I see some of your questions coming up in here. I saw a question by Mike Nicholson. He said, "What happened to the good old days of the Nigerian prince asking you to send him money?" Listen, they're coming up with new creative ways. They're keeping up with the current times, stuff like that. You really won't get, that type of asking nowadays. And they tend to target the teenagers of today. Teenagers, elderly folk, they tend to go towards them. And 90% of the time it works. Another way to avoid this happening is to make sure that your account is private. I have a private Instagram account, a private Twitter account, and what that does is that allows you to see who people will basically have to request to follow you. It show you what their profile looks like, unless their profile is private as well. It'll show you what their profile is. And you can also tell a lot about a person by the bio of their profile. If you see someone's profile say, Bitcoin, specialist or credit engineer, do not follow them. Do not let them follow you. They will try to hack your page, scam you. So do not fall for that. That is another term for phishing. I see another question. Is it true that when it is a private account, you can't be an influencer? I know a lot of influencers who have a public account, because that's where it's easier for people to see their content, for people to access, check out their profile. I wouldn't say it's harder to be an influencer if your account is or you can't be an influencer if your account is private, but you're definitely gonna have to maneuver around the sites a little bit more, and definitely work a little bit harder to promote your content. Make sure you're still sharing it with your close circle. Make sure you're using the right hashtags, everything. My mom said, "I don't need a check next to my name. I need a check in my bank account." Listen, I know that's right. We know you should know your social status by now. And that stuff fades anyway. At the end of the day, nobody really cares if you have a check mark next to your name, because as long as you know your value, that's that. You could be a celebrity in your own self. You can have 900 followers on Facebook or something, and if you know your worth, you're already a celebrity. Miss Davia Stevenson, says, "I have a public and private account. I post different content." That's also good too. If you have a public account, and you post stuff about your brand. Your private account could be more about your personal life. That is, that works too. As long as you aren't paying, a social media site a month, like a monthly subscription. um you know sometimes they don't, they won't even give you a verified check. Some of these social media sites, you'll pay for the subscription, and then 3 days go by and you still won't, have a verified check mark next to your name. Mike Nicholson said on some of the platforms, in order to be an influencer, it has to be public. I know, yes, that is true, for Instagram and TikTok. I'm not too sure about on Facebook or on Twitter. I know a lot of people, especially celebrities, artists, they can have, no post on their page, and they still have a million people following them, still tweeting at them, stuff like that. So I'll do some more research on that, and I will get back with the News in Motion family sometime in the next few weeks. Shirley Nicholson says, yes, Isaiah, just got requests from Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure that's what she meant to say. Bitcoin profile, but ignored and deleted. This is what we need to do. We need to be more aware of these profiles and these accounts who claim to be about Bitcoin, claim to be, credit specialists, claim to be stock exchange specialists. If you see if you see a profile of theirs, and be sure to check their likes too. Go to a post that they have, if their page is public, and look at their likes. If they have anywhere under 50 likes, they're not legit. They are not legit at all. I mean, they're not legit at all. But if someone with 50 likes who claim to be a Bitcoin specialist, yeah, something's not adding up. The math isn't mathing right there. News and Motion says that's $143.88 a year. Is it worth it for a blue check mark? It's really not. You know what you could do for $143.88? You know how many meals you can get, how many with inflation, groceries gonna have to, be a little, be taken down a little bit. You can pay for gas, clothes, you can pay a utility bill. It's really not worth it for that much a month to, you know, be a celebrity for a month. It's not worth it. So that was just a little Wednesday workshop for today. I'm Meta Verify, Twitter Blue. With that being said, we are going to go right into the inspirational message. I was struggling to find the title for this, but all I'm going to say is be you. Be you. What that means is just be yourself. You shouldn't have to pay to be verified or pay to, show who you truly are. Just be you. And it ties into one of my favorite movies, favorite Marvel movies, Black Panther. At the water fight scene between T'Challa and M'Baku, and T'Challa was struggling, but he saw his mom, and Queen Ramonda said, "Show him who you are. Just be who you are. Be you. Be true to yourself. If you know your worth, if you know your value, you know, walk in that. Walk in your greatness. Just be you. You know, be the artist. Be the entrepreneur that you're going to be. Be the mathematician, the teacher, the dancer, the news reporter specialist, videography. Be whoever you're going to be in life. Find your purpose and walk in it. Walk in your greatness, because you are destined for something greater than what people count you out to be. So walk in your greatness, walk in your purpose, and be you. Be true to yourself. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to Wednesday Workshop and to News in Motion. Shout out to Miss Gail Dudley for all that she does, bringing the relevant news, the relevant commentary, to Devontae Goins, to Kenny Stanley for Game Over. Thank you all for tuning in. Mike Nicholson said something very important here. Jesus verified us. Insert shout here. And listen, he verified us, you know, with his blood and the holes in his hand. So amen to that. With that being said, we will see you all tomorrow for more News in Motion. You know, when Miss Gail Dudley says, stay well and remember to make some bold moves. We're out.